Item 9.
Item 9, recognizing the retirement of Dennis Barron, Stan Vanderwerf, Commissioner, Board of County Commissioners.
All right, outstanding. Is Mr. Dennis Barron out there? There he is. Come on down, please, sir. And I have to tell you, it's been a pleasure working with you, worked with you in several places. I'm going to go ahead and read this, and I move for the recognition of the retirement of Dennis Barron, whereas the Board of County Commissioners of El Paso County, Colorado, regretfully acknowledges the retirement of Dennis J. Barron after 12 years serving in the Department of Public Works. And whereas Mr. Barron was hired in November 2005 to work in the Department of Public Works' Engineering Division and has remained in that role in his entire career. And whereas Dennis managed many of the large Pikes Peak Rural Transportation Authority projects from design through construction. He oversaw the 4-phase South Academy Improvement Project that expanded the roadway to 4 lanes, constructed new bridges and ramps on State Highway 115 and Fort Carson Gate 4, improved access to Pikes Peak Community College. The project won a National Association of Counties Achievement Award and a Sustainability Award from Fort Carson. And whereas Mr. Barron managed the Mark Scheffel North Improvement Project, which widened Mark Scheffel Road to a 4-lane road with medians between Electronic Drive on the south to North Carefree Circle on the north, reconfigured and widened the intersection at Constitution Avenue, and relocated utilities throughout the corridor. And whereas he led the multi-jurisdictional Mark Scheffel South Improvement Project that included roadway and drainage improvements along the 11-mile corridor between US 24 and the connection with Link Road and Fountain. And this project received the 2017 Best in Colorado Award from the Colorado Asphalt Pavement Association. And whereas his direct efforts on the $13 million Baptist Road West project led to the Project of the Year Award from the American Public Works Association for 2016. This project combined 2 of the PPRTA A-list projects into a single project, using a $1 million grant from the Department of Local Affairs to improve the overall safety and accessibility for communities on the west side of the railroad tracks. The county constructed its first roundabout with this project. And whereas the West Side Avenue Action Plan to improve Manitou and Colorado Avenues in western El Paso County has been Mr. Barron's major focus over the last 2 years, and this project will revitalize and improve the infrastructure and has been one of the most challenging projects of Dennis's career. And whereas Mr. Barron's knowledge and service has contributed greatly to the ongoing success of the engineering division, and his expertise, commitment, experience, and resourcefulness will be greatly missed in the Department of Public Works. Now, therefore, the Board of County Commissioners of El Paso County, Colorado, hereby proclaims its gratitude to Mr. Dennis Barron for more than 12 years of dedicated service. Done this 28th day of August 2018 at Colorado Springs, Colorado. The Board of County Commissioners of El Paso County, Colorado, signed Darrell Glenn, President, Mark Waller, President Pro Tem, Stan Vanderwerf, Lajinos Gonzalez Jr., and Peggy Littleton, members, and attested to by Chuck Browerman, County Clerk and Recorder. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Barron. What would you like to say?
Thank you very much, Commissioner.
Tim Reed's
It's been a pleasure working for the county. I was glad they were able to let me work on all these large construction projects. It made it interesting and challenging throughout my career, always finding something new to work with. And it's been fun working with the engineering department, all the consultants that I've had to work with, and I've enjoyed my time here at the county, so thank you again.
I think there's somebody behind you that wants to.
I think so.
Time for payback, Dennis. I want to. How many of you have seen Dennis before, other than Greg's videos? The point I'm trying to make here is here's a person that has worked for our county after 34 years with the Port Authority in Jersey and New York. And he comes here, right? and he brings the attitude with him. You see he's pretty talkative, as you can see. And Dennis has managed over $130 million tax dollars in projects during his time here. And that's a huge thing. And if you look at some of the big projects like Colorado Avenue, Baptist Road, the Mark Shuffle North Improvement Project, these are some large projects that have a major impact on our community. And yet he's still quiet. Greg, how hard was it to get him to do the videos? Like pulling teeth, yeah. Dennis doesn't want to be seen. He just wants to do the job. And I've talked to him about that. When we had opportunities within engineering, he says, no, I just want to continue to do what I'm doing. You know, I'm good, leave me alone. The thing I've noticed with Dennis, though, is that no matter who he works with, regardless of the contractor or regardless of who comes in, he always establishes a great rapport with them. He's straightforward, to the point, makes sure that they follow the contract. And when the project is complete, there's a large amount of respect from those folks for Dennis because of the way Dennis is. This is a huge loss for this county to lose Dennis, but Dennis has bought a home in Kissimmee, Florida. His wife is there now saying, where are you? You need to get back here. We got to go golfing, right? We got golfing to do. He's near Disneyland. He has 3 grandchildren, 1 grandson. So, or 3 children and 1 grandson, sorry. And so, I'll be honest with you, Dennis, it's painful to see you go, but I'm so grateful you came here and helped us out, and you've made a huge impact on this community. You've made an impact on the folks downstairs, and I have a ton of respect for you, and I can't wish you anything but the best. Thank you, Dennis, for what you've done.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Excellent. Anybody else? Okay, I'll bring it up here then.
No, I think there's one.
Ah, yeah. I see Andre Bracken up there. I think that we didn't notice you.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Clack, Department of Public Works. I've worked with Dennis for 12 years, and he's an amazing individual. I've really enjoyed my time, and he says he thanks us for being able to work here. Truly, we need to thank him because he is a great employee. He's a great engineer. You listed off several projects, and that doesn't include all the projects that Dennis has worked on. I know there are others. But another thing that it doesn't display is how he works on multiple projects at the same time. And these are huge projects with a lot of problems, but he always figures out the best way to proceed with these projects. He's done a great job. I guess another thing, he's moving to Florida. I know he's got family down in Florida. He'll spend a lot of time with them. I learned early that he enjoys going to Disneyland, or Disneyland and Disney World, and my family also does that a lot too. I thought we did it a lot. He travels down to Florida more often than he spends time here, I believe, at times. And he's had yearly passes at Disney World, and I'd just like to thank him for all of his work. He's been a great employee, a great engineer, and truly a great friend. Thank you, Dennis.
Thanks, John.
Yep.
Excellent.
Good morning, Eileen Gonzalez, Contracts and Procurement. All those projects that you listed, we've had the opportunity in my office to work with Dennis, and we truly appreciate not only his professionalism, his attention to detail, but he's just been so easy for us to work with. Some folks that we work with often are not that easy to work with, but Dennis has been there. He's been supportive. We've learned a lot from him, and we in our office will truly, truly miss him. I want to wish you the very best, Dennis, and thank you again.
Come on up. You're always welcome.
Good morning, Commissioners. Andre Bracken. I echo all the things that have been said about Dennis so far, but have a few points here I'd just like to share with you also. He came to us from the New York Port Authority, where he had a long and very successful career working on major infrastructure. He was there when the two towers fell. But as a PM on our biggest projects, the level of attention, level of detail, his conscientiousness, and just how good he is as a professional engineer saved the county and taxpayers literally millions of dollars compared to some other engineer doing the same job. I thank him for that. I thank him for the support that he gave myself when I was a county employee and the engineering division and the taxpayers. One interesting thing about Dennis is when he came to us, I noticed one of the first things is that he didn't use a pen, he doesn't use a computer, he does everything with a number 2 pencil. I mean, it doesn't take him, it's his attention to detail in his mind that really does the job. But as a respected colleague and friend, I thank him and wish him all the best in retirement.
Okay, anybody else?
Oh, is there one more?
Good morning, Commissioners. Greg Dingrander from the PIO office. I've gotten to know Dennis over the past year and a half through doing a lot of these videos that we've been doing on Facebook for the West Side Avenue Action Plan. I think Jim said it best that he is a quiet worker, but gets the job done. I can almost guarantee you he never thought he would be doing all these videos with me. He didn't think that he would become the Facebook rock star that he has become, but he's been great to work with, and he's shown a lot of patience working with me, someone who's not in the construction side of things, but working with me and explaining this project and the details of it, what is, as you guys well know, has become a very complicated project over on the west side. And so he's been great to work with, and he's been a really important asset, I think, to the people over there, keeping everyone informed and keeping this project going. So I appreciate Dennis working with him over the past year and a half, and wish him all the best.
Okay.
Jennifer Irving, County Engineer. Is with great pleasure that I'm here today and with a heavy heart. Dennis came to the county as we were starting up our PPRTA program, and we were moving from a county that really did maintenance on our roadways to really a county that did large capital construction. And that's not an easy transition. And Dennis was a huge part of that. He was over at DOT, and I came back from DOT come back from what is now Planning and Community Development to come back to DOT to work. And one of the things I learned early about Dennis is that he is a great engineer and just very conscientious and thoughtful about how he goes about his work. So I was lucky enough to be a colleague of him, also his employee at one point, and then his supervisor. And then also he works for me as I became the county engineer. So one of the things that everybody talks about engineering, and I can attest to that, but the other thing that you need to know about what our engineers do for the county is that they are engineers who do traffic, they do geotechnicals, they do stormwater, they do materials, they do construction management, and they also do contract management. And beyond that kind of engineering, they're also required to be an accountant, look at legal documents, do grant writing, and also deal with public relations and our citizens. And as Greg said, be a rock star on Facebook. So we list a bunch of the large projects, but what you don't see there is a bunch of the small projects. And what you don't see is a lot of the work that he does behind the scenes to mentor young engineers. He is available when anybody has a question to go in there and say, how does the county do it? But are there other ways to do it? So I really appreciate Dennis for doing that, not only for me, but also for my staff engineers. And finally, I just want to say, we've thrown a lot of challenges Dennis's way. From, hey, let's do a flyover on South Academy. Hey, Dennis, let's do our first roundabout in the county. Hey, Dennis, I want art in that roundabout. Let's figure out how to do that. Hey, Dennis, you know that county line project? It's also in Douglas County. We got to figure out how to get that project done, even though the PPRTA isn't in Douglas County. So there are a lot of things behind the scene that we have thrown at Dennis, all these challenges that he has rose to the occasion and made the quality of life in El Paso County just that much better. So I just wanted to thank Dennis for all that you've done. No matter what we do or say here, it's not enough. And I just want to, I know Arlene's flying in tonight, and we'll see her tomorrow. And I really just want to thank Arlene and his family for sharing him with us during this time, and thank him for all his hard work.
Fantastic. Great. All right. Anybody
Again,
else?
I'd like to thank Jennifer and Andre and Jim for giving me the opportunity to work on these challenging projects. It's been fun, and I've enjoyed it, and it's been an interesting career, second career for me.
Yeah, and so as typical, we made a sign. I would encourage everybody to please come sign it. I brought it down specifically because I know that there are a lot of people downtown who would want to be able to sign it. So, and we'll present that to Dennis later.
Fantastic. I'll bring it up. Bring it back up here. Commissioner Waller.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, Dennis, I want to obviously echo a lot of what other folks have said here, but in particular, I want to highlight something that Mr. Bracken said. He talked about the work that you've done that saved millions through creating efficiencies in county government. And I can't tell you how much I truly appreciate that, because at a time when we have, about $1 billion shortfall in transportation needs in the county, we need people like you. It is about $1 billion, right, Jim? About $1 billion shortfall? Yeah. So at a time when we have such an absolutely significant shortfall when it comes to transportation needs in our community, it's refreshing to know that we have people like you that create the efficiencies necessary in order for us to get the absolute best bang for the taxpayers' dollars. So thank you for your 12 years of service, and we're truly going to miss you.
Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd also like to thank you, Dennis, for the great work you've been doing. Where I have had the opportunity to interact with you, and it has been a pleasure to interact with you, has been the West Side Area Action Plan over on the west side, the reconstruction of West Colorado Avenue. And that has been a very difficult project. And I think from the coffee with the contractor events with the community, and to the discovery that the creek had been shored up by old tires and that they had to be removed, to the heavy rainstorms that traveled through the creek during the middle of the construction, that was a difficult environment that caused additional cleanup and so forth that was going on there. All of those things we've been able to overcome because of your leadership on the project, and the project continues, and it looks like, if I understand correctly, by the end of this year, all the roads are going to be in place and operating, and there'll be some cleanup, so forth in 2018. But I think it's actually part of your professionalism and your skills as an engineer, but also your calm demeanor, I think, has been very, very helpful for getting the community and the voting members of PPRTA through that project so that we can succeed with it and go forward. So there's, I think, a place where the expertise and your background, but also your personality, really, really delivered on behalf of the citizens of El Paso County. And I got to see that personally and appreciate it. So while on some of the other projects, I just wasn't here when you were working on them, on this one, I got to see you work personally on those projects, and I'm very, very grateful that you were the project lead for that. Because I think you were critical to the success of it. And I'd like to wish you the best, wherever that may be, in Florida. And I can appreciate going to Disneyland and Disney World. They're actually pretty cool places. Used to live in Florida and would go to those. But all the best in your retirement. And there's probably more in your future. I don't know if you'll be back working on highways in Florida or something like that.
Not planning on it right now. Thank you.
Anyway, thank you very, very much for your support to the community, to the citizens of El Paso County, and in helping on so many of these projects.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too just wanted to thank you for years of service and the knowledge and mentorship you bring to our team and staff that I know you've passed along, and for your friends and family supporting you, getting to enjoy Florida. So make sure you hunker down when those hurricanes come in. I lived 6 years in Florida, different parts of it, and those you get your little weather storms there. But I know you're going to enjoy your time out there, Disney World, and all the other great amenities of having a warmer climate year-round than we have here. But all the hard work you've given to us, it's just I'm just very personally thankful for all that. So God bless, and continuation of all your endeavors.
Thank you, Commissioner. And Jennifer highlighted the project that I really will remember you for, and working on talking about the first roundabout in the county and everything that was going on up there with Baptist Road. It's amazing, your involvement with that and everything that you've done, your dedication. I just want to personally thank you for all your support to the county. Yeah. So with that, I will call the roll, and then we will stand in recess and take a photo. So. All right. Commissioner Gonzalez.
Aye.
Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Aye.
Commissioner Waller.
Aye.
President votes aye. That passes unanimously with Commissioner Littleton excused. Thank you very much. We'll stand in recess.